Well, it wasn't the prettiest of days here at the Big A, but some good races on tap as the birds are checking out the final turn of Aqueduct's inner track. But we are safe and sound in the Aqueduct studios for this Insider edition on MSG+. Maggie Wolfendale alongside Andy Serling for tonight's rendition. Andy, you got to stay dry.
Yeah, right. I cowered in the studio all day while you were actually outside in the rain. It was very comfortable in the studio. I was going to complain to you and tell you it was a little too warm in the studio, and I figured you were taking the worst of it. But you know what? The races went off well, and we saw some really good races today.
We really did. But last night we saw some really good acceptance speeches for the Eclipse Awards and Horse of the Year and top 3-year-old honors going to California Chrome, who, I mean, won our Derby. I think the Eclipse Awards are based on which horse kind of generates the most buzz by the fans, and California Chrome did just that.
Yeah, no, I think that's a very fair analysis, Maggie. And listen, he's a very legitimate winner. As you say, he captures the imagination not just of racing fans, but of fans all around the country, and I think that's a very important thing. Myself, I would have voted for Bayern. I'm sorry it was such a big discrepancy and he finished third, but I don't think anything should be taken away from California Chrome. This is a horse who took a little breather during the summer, but for the most part ran the whole year and ran well.
I thought it was interesting. Most of the Eclipse Awards not really based on the Breeders' Cup as we've seen in years past, so that was interesting. But getting back to the fans, Steve Coburn had a lot of thanks for them.
Thanks. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, this is truly an honor. It was an honor to be nominated and then to win these two prestigious awards. I have no words. I have no words, but I've got to say one thing. I've got to thank all the fans that love this horse. Because if it wasn't for the fans, we would not have horse racing, and if it wasn't for horse racing, we would not have fans. So do not deviate from thanking our fans every time you get to. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much.
No truer words are ever spoken by owner Steve Coburn about California Chrome.
No, I agree. And I think about racing in general. It is about our fans and about the customers and the people who bet on the races, or the people that keep the racing going, and they're the most important part, or a very important part of the game. I think the most important part. Obviously, the owners, the trainers, everybody that works here, but without people betting on these games and supporting the game, we have no game.
That is exactly right, and I'm sure a lot of people did bet on the undefeated, at least stateside, Main Sequence in his 4 Grade 1 victories, which earned him top honors in older horse of the year, champion older horse, I should say, and turf male.
You know what, Maggie? I think it's time to have a dirt older. If we're going to have a grass champion, we need to have a dirt champion. Nothing against Main Sequence. He's a wonderful horse. I loved seeing him run. I'm thrilled to see Graham Motion, who I think should have been a finalist for Trainer of the Year, whether you think he would have won or not. But to give the grass horses the right to win the championship for older horse, but the dirt horses can't go in the other categories, they've got a category. And I think a horse like Palace Malice, whether you think it was him or Golden Sense, I think Palace, a horse who was forgotten about in these Eclipse Awards, I think the dirt horses, the handicap horses, need their own category.
Even Private Zone could be mentioned in that argument as well. It's just unfortunate the dirt handicap division hasn't really been that spectacular in years past with a kind of leader of the division.
Well, absolutely. There's no leader. I mean, you're absolutely right. Palace Malice looked like he was a runaway leader after the Met. He blew up in the Whitney. We never saw him again, and we saw some great performances. But you're right. We didn't see anything close to a runaway leader. And the 3-year-olds won the Jockey Club. Yeah. They won the Prep, the Awesome Again in California, and they dominated in the Breeders' Cup.
Well, a mare that looked to be untouchable during the summertime was Bill Mott and Juddmonte Farms. Close hatches as we will check out her Ogden Fifth back on Belmont Day.
It's amazing when you think about this race and how this was such a heavily billed race and a great battle with Close Hatches, the champion beholder, Princess Silmar outside of her, and how this division kind of fell apart. I mean, as good as Close Hatches was, and don't forget, she won her personal ensign. She did a lot of good things on the racetrack, but after the personal ensign, she completely fell apart. She fell apart at Keeneland, the Breeders' Cup. Beholder only ran the one more race in there. Princess Silmar never won again. That turned out to be sort of the pivotal race of the year, but ultimately this division left us wanting daunting, I think, at the end of the year.
It truly did, and a lot of these mares now retired, so we're going to have to kind of gather up the troops and hopefully make for a stronger division next year.
Well, Untappable's coming back, and, you know, once again, it was a year of the 3-year-olds dominating. We talked about it with the handicapped horse, the 3-year-olds winning the big race, but Untappable won the Breeders' Cup, and thankfully she'll be back, and that's something to be happy about.
And she took down 3-year-old champion Filly Honors. Well, another guy that was honored last night at the Eclipse Awards was our very own Tom Durkin, winning the Award of Merit last night, and here's what he had to say.
Together, we saw some amazing performances over the decades, performances that allowed me to honestly elocute words that horse races routinely generate. Words like courageous, determined, sublime, otherworldly, magnificent. Thousands of words that were only an attempt to describe the indescribable thoroughbred. What other game, what other pursuit provides a prism for such passions? If nothing else, horse racing is an obsession fueled by dreams. And here in a room full of dreamers, thank goodness for these incredible horses and the incredible things they do.
And Tom, always very eloquent in his speech, no matter if he's calling races or not.
I think the Tom Durkin farewell tour is going to be longer than Derek Jeter's farewell tour. But you know what? I don't want to say goodbye to Tom. I don't think anybody does. And besides being a friend of ours, the game is not going to be the same without Tom in it. I mean, this is a man who changed the game from the booth in a very positive way.
Well, he will still be involved as he's partnering with West Point Thoroughbreds in a managerial way and investment way. So we'll still get to see him. No, he will still be in that Saratoga paddock. But let's check out races on hand today. Race number 3 was a very deep allowance race with sprinters. Johnny I has the call.
And they're off. Malaya away well from the extreme outside. Green Grotto now moves up, and Green Grotto takes the lead. Oliver Zip, Big Guy Ian down at the rail. Big Guy Ian up to challenge Green Grotto for the lead. Scarly Charlie is on the move up into third. Oliver Zip is alongside that Monster Mash. Malaya, who broke well, is now the trailer in 6th. A battle up front. Big Guy Ian and Green Grotto in the opening quarter. Over the off-going in 22 2/5 seconds, moving right along around the far turn. Green Grotto on the outside pokes ahead in front. Big Guy Ian down at the rail is second by 2. Scarly Charlie in third as Oliver Zip fades back. Down at the rail is Malaya, who's now coming on, and then Monster Mash. The field is at the head of the stretch. The half went in 45 4. It's Green Grotto, and here's Scarly Charlie up on the outside to challenge. Malaya is now third as they pass the 8th pole. On the outside, Scarly Charlie, Green Grotto towards the rail. Malaya still in third as they come down for the wire. It is Scarly Charlie and Green Grotto. Scarly Charlie by a head. Green Grotto was second.
Andy, we learned 3 things about this third race. One, that Green Grotto's an ultimate overachiever. Malay isn't as good as 2 to 5, and Angel Cruz can ride a bit.
This is a great ride. This horse does not break that sharply. He knows that he's got to get in contention. And Angel Cruz rode this horse, the eventual winner, Scarly Charlie, rode him very hard to make sure he got his position, as Richie likes to say, going forward, put him in the garden spot. If he hadn't been aggressive early, Maggie, he'd have been last early, and he would not have won this race. He would have finished third. He made the difference. And I agree, by the way, with what you said about Green Grotto. He is a really hard-trying horse.
He ran too good to lose. Yeah. But Scarly Charlie, it was good to see him get redemption after a kind of failed ride attempt last time out.
Yeah, he stayed too close to the inside, and he was a classic turnback in this race. I think what you said about Malay is absolutely right. He's a very good horse. I just feel as though people underestimated the talents of the other horses in this race. This was really a stake race, and Malay was a contender, and he ran well in here and got a very good ride from our ad. He just wasn't good enough.
No. Well, speaking of stake races, we had the Holly Hughes on tap as today's featured 8th race. It was older New York bred sprinting. Johnny I once again.
And they all came away well. I'm Stoked shows first with Captain Sirius on the outside. Gomez is down towards the rail. with Crafty Dreamer alongside. Then a length and a half to the two trailers, Big Business and Jeter. Up the backstretch, I Am Stoked by 3/4 of a length. Captain Sirius on the outside in second. Gomez, Crafty Dreamer right together, third and fourth. Then Jeter and Big Business. And the opening quarter over the sloppy surface in 23 seconds. I'm Stoked on the lead as the field rounds the far turn. I'm Stoked challenged here by Captain Sirius. Captain Sirius up on the outside to take the lead. From I'm Stoked, Crafty Dreamer is third. Then Gomez and Big Business. And the field comes into the stretch. Captain Sirius racing out in the middle of the track there, and in front, down at the rail is Gomez, then I'm Stoked, Crafty Dreamer, and a Big Business. It's Captain Sirius with a narrow lead as they pass the 16th pole. Crafty Dreamer on the outside. I'm Stoked towards the inside, but it is Captain Sirius who gets there first. Captain Sirius, the winner of the Holly Hughes, a three-way
here in the winner's gazebo with winning rider Jose Ortiz in the Holly Hughes. Trainer Mike Cushion picking up his 6th win in this race, but you've been aboard Captain Sirius every single start. This is a pretty cool horse for you to get this win.
Yeah, this is a special horse for me. I've been working with him since he's a baby. I want to thank Mike Cushion for the support and his owners. And the horse was doing amazing before in his prep for this race. I breathed in and he was doing better than ever, so I was pretty confident today.
You looked at turning for home. You kind of swept wide, and he seemed to skip over this track pretty nicely, but came close at the end.
Yeah, he gave me the second reaction by the 16th pole. I switched my stick, and he go back. He's an amazing horse.
He's very game. Congratulations with Captain Sirius.
Thank you.
And Jose Ortiz, you can tell his affinity for Captain Sirius. Obviously, he has a great reputation with him. But these Ortiz boys, they work hard, and they really like the horses that they ride.
No, it seems as very much. And, you know, Erod is one of I know him better than his brother Jose, and he's just a terrific guy. He's an impossible guy to know it all and not like. And they take their craft very seriously. I think, yeah, Jose's a very serious, it seems, guy, and they obviously ride well. Captain Sirius, though, looked like he was going to win this race by open lengths.
I know.
I think he just lost a little interest when he got the lead and late in the stretch.
Yeah, when he kind of swept him wide, he was, where are we going? And kind of idled a bit, but it was good to see him get the win. Mike Cushion, 1-3 in today's Holly Hughes. But that'll do it for segment number 1 on this Aqueduct Insider. But stay tuned, a lot more action to come. Well, it still looks as though those raindrops are falling, so good thing those guys in there have a warm seat at the Big A grandstand, and so do we here in the Aqueduct studio. For Aqueduct Insider, Maggie and Andy along for the ride here today. Let's jump back into the racing action, and that's race number 5. It was a state bred claiming 20.
South Beach Sandy and Pisces by Moonlight. Pretension now moves up, and Street Swag is on the outside. As they head into the clubhouse turn, it is Pretension who comes away with the lead. Street Swag on the outside in second, and Pisces by Moonlight towards the rail in third. Then South Beach Sandy is racing in fourth, almost 3 lengths to Ultimate Empire in fifth. Call for the clock down on the inside in sixth. Becker's Galaxy is seventh. Farther back, it's So Scott in eighth. Catman Fu trails the field in ninth. They're on the backstretch now, and it's Pretension, the one to catch. Pretension in front by a length. Street Swag runs in second, with Pisces by Moonlight just in behind and running in third. A break of 2. South Beach Sandy is in fourth, with Call for the Clock in fifth. Ultimate Empire and Becker's Galaxy. Now a big break, 7 or 8 lengths. Back to So Scott and Catman Fu. The quarter 23 and 2, and the half mile in 47 and 4/5 seconds. And Pretension is trying to do it on the front end here. Pretension in front by a little more than 2 lengths. Pisces by Moonlight now picks it up as Street Swag drops back. Towards the rail is South Beach Sandy, then Call for the Clock. It is Pretension with the lead as they come for the quarter pole. He ran 3/4 in 1:12 and 3. Pisces by Moonlight is on the outside. Pretension in front. Pisces by Moonlight trying to get by. Hasn't done it yet. 1/8 of a mile to the finish. It is Pretension who's drifting out a bit here in the stretch. Pretension in front. Pisces by Moonlight now switches to the inside. Pretension holding on to the lead. Pisces by Moonlight, one last try. They come for the wire, and it is Pretension who gets there first. Pisces by Moonlight was second. Farther back, Backstreet Swag, and Call for the Clock.
Well, we'll check out the head-on here. A race that didn't go official without some controversy, at least from the fans.
Yeah, I mean, there was no inquiry here at all, but it looked like it on the pan, and you watch this head-on. I mean, the horse who wins the race has already drifted a good 3 or 4 paths, and I do think Pais Maule was second, was lugging in a bit, but it was exacerbated by the horse drifting. He ended up drifting inside of him, and maybe that was partly a function of him drifting in. And listen, I'm not saying there should have been a disqualification here, but a lot of fans talked about it, and I happen to agree with them, Maggie. I think there should have been an inquiry.
Yeah, at least a second look into this 5th race, though. Pretension was your official winner with Gary Contessa and Jose Ortiz, who did have 3 wins on the card. But we got to get to our 6-pack, and we'll catch up with the rest of today's racing on this Sunday card.
Meisner Park, the two of them are right together now. Charleston Pier has squirted clear. Charleston Pier in front by almost a length. Meisner Park not giving up on the outside as they come down for the finish. Charleston Pier now by 2. And it will be Charleston Pier to win the opener. Meisner Park was second. Hollywood Angel finished third. 3/5 seconds, the field is in the stretch. Here comes Sharon Stone on the outside now to take over the lead. Over My Head continues to rally down at the rail. Princess Bella on call is back in third. Sharon Stone with a 3-length lead as they come down for the finish. Sharon Stone, the winner. Over My Head was second. Senora Sofia came from way out of it to get third. And he did it easily. Tap and Mojo opens up here. Farther back, Tonight, and Roman Magic. It's going to be Tonight, and he's going to win by double digits. Tonight, much the best here. Roman Magic up for second. Tappin' Mojo is the winner. Farther back, Full of Sugar has opened up here. Full of Sugar has built a 4-length lead. Sylvia T made a run at her at the top of the stretch, but could not stay with Full of Sugar, who's full of run as they come down for the wire. Full of Sugar, much the best. Sylvia T was second. It's a 3-way photo for third among Majestic Empire, Your Move Narrowly, Starship Pleasant in second. Farther back, Coast of Sangria, Violet Hour, Rock Me Mama, and Malibu Queen. Now with a 16th out, Starship Pleasant has taken the lead. Rock Me Mama continues to gain, but it will be Starship Pleasant first on the line. Rock Me Mama was second, then Coast of Sangria in third. Bridget Maloney down at the rail as they come down for the 8th pole. Bobby Joe is in front. Bridget Maloney down on the inside. Then it's Sweet Sway. Far outside, it's Perling. Bobby Joe opens up in deep stretch. Bobby Joe in the slop, a 6-length winner, close for second between Perling and Bridget Maloney.
Bruce Levine rounding out the card with 2 wins, as well as trainer Mike Hushin. But let's go back to the main special weight that we saw with race number 6 in here. Andy, talk about an aggressive ride by Junior Alvarado.
Yeah, you know, I remember Angel Cruz yesterday, very aggressive with Celebrated Talent, and a similar thing here with the winner Full of Sugar. Got an outside post with the speed, but you can't fool around. You got to come out of that gate with a purpose, and Junior did what he had to do. He was able to clear the field and get to the lead. If she doesn't win from there, it's not his fault. He did it, and she took care of the rest, Mag.
Yeah, a nice one for trainer Mark Henning, getting Full of Sugar, stretched back out in distance, and ready to win. Well, we always have to check out a New York bred on the card, and it's time for a Frost Giant New York bred standout of the day, and that has to go to the Holly Hughes winner in Captain Sirius.
Listen, these are great estate quality runners. I mean, this isn't just a good New York bred. Captain Sirius is just a flat-out good racehorse, and he ran against some other very good racehorses here in his uncoupled stablemate towards the inside of him. You see the Hard Knocker Crafty Dreamer outside of him. A rare, less than terrific performance by Big Business, maybe the wet track and the 6 furlongs. And you know what, Maggie? It was a pretty moderate pace, all things considered.
Yeah, and he was still coming with his run at the end. We always love the New York breds, and we always love Frost Giant's progeny. So if you're interested in breeding to him, make sure you contact Eric Bishop at Sunrise Stallions. Well, that will do it for racing here today, but As far as the standings are concerned, Jose Ortiz holding it down 41 over Manny Franco's 32.
I tell you, that's a pretty big lead. It does seem like Erod is a closing jockey in the jockey standings.
Right.
He likes to spot him some ground and come running in the stretch, and there's a heck of a lot more racing to be done here at the Big A.
I know, it always seems like he's not here for a couple days at the beginning of meets, and he'll be coming with his run. But David Jacobson, only 2 wins in front of Linda Rice, Gary Gullo, Gary Contessa round out the top 4.
You know, I mean, they're all doing very well. Michelle Nevin doesn't have the numbers some of the other ones have. Gary Contessa is doing very well. Gary Gullo's doing well. And I didn't realize how close Linda was. She just wins.
She does. She plays the game. She's always in the claim box, which leads us to our claims on this Sunday card. And we had a few. Number 1, Meisner Park. Gary Contessa reaching in $40,000 tonight. Second-time starter, 12-5, Greg Matisse, and Linda winning the 3-way shake for her old horse, Pretension.
Well, it's certainly not bad, I guess, to claim a horse that won, as long as you didn't lose a condition in that situation. And Charlie Baker took Pisces by Moonlight, and you and I, of course, may be Charlie's biggest fans.
Oh, we definitely are, and he knows how to handle this beauty in the dam, which I can't remember her name right now, but he does love that family. Well, they're working on the track for tomorrow. Fingers crossed we have a drier track than we saw today. We'll be right back after these messages. It may be a holiday for most of you, but we are racing here on this Martin Luther King Day tomorrow, January 19th. First post will be 12:25. That is the last time you will see that post time, as we are moving posts back as of this coming Thursday. It will be 1:20 on weekdays and 12:45 on weekends.
Yeah, so the 2 posts, and there will be 8 race cards during the week, 9 race cards in the weekends. You know, Martin Luther King Day, for me, you take out your lifetime, it's really the only holiday that has you feel a direct connection to, because Martin Luther King, of course, was alive, at least in my lifetime, not in yours. I'm very old, unlike you, Maggie, but Martin Luther King Day is a very important holiday.
Well, I still feel obviously the great consequences that he brought and the good things that he brought to this country, and it's always a pleasure to celebrate his birthday, or just him being around, and we'll do that with the Jazzle Stakes tomorrow. The first running of this stake, $100,000 on the line for 4-year-olds and upward. We're going to mile and 70 here. We will check out Micromanage, who is the 4-5, coupled with the other Rapoli runner, Misconnect, but a great performance here in the Queens County.
Yeah, no, he was terrific in there. I thought Vijak had a little bit of trouble, and it's possible if he had a cleaner trip, he might have beaten Micromanage, but I'm not really sure that would have been the case, because he also saved ground. Some good things happened for him, and Misconnect didn't run that badly, running 3rd. There's no doubt this entry is the horses to beat. They might run 1st and 2nd here, but I don't think by any stretch of the imagination it's a 2-headed monster and nobody else.
No, I think there are, 5 other horses in here we need to take a look at, and the speed might be Abraham, as he does return to New York for trainer Bill Mott. We're going to check out his last win on the NYRA circuit back at Saratoga, and I was so pleased to see them finally employ this horse's early speed.
I agree. I mean, you've got speed with a horse, and that's a weapon, and they've used it, and when he's been successful, they've used his speed as a weapon. Frankly, he stunk the joint up in the Hawthorne Gold Cup in his last race, and that was a moderate pace. The race was won wire to wire by Red Rifle, and maybe you could argue that Joe Rocco, who hasn't ridden him before, maybe he didn't use his speed as much as he could, and perhaps Junior Alvarado, who's been very aggressive lately, can use his aggressive riding style and at least take his best shot using his talents.
And he knows this horse and has won on him before, but once again we see another horse coming back to New York, and that's Chivarelli for Eddie Keneally, who's having a lights-out meet, kind of hitting at around 40%. But we'll check out his comeback win off of the layoff here at Keeneland.
Yeah, this was a few starts back, and I'll tell you, they were very aggressive with him right away. They ran him down at Gulfstream Park West, the ex-Calder in his next start. I thought he ran very well against some good horses in East Hall and Wildcat Red, and it was a demanding mile in the 16th race. Last time out, he had no chance against Liam's Map and Ballad in that situation. It's a very smart move. Give him a little bit of relief. Bring him up here, but also to bring him some track, Maggie, that he absolutely loves, because he's 2 for 2 on the inner, and any moisture in the track, I have a feeling Eddie Keneally's thinking, rain, 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 keep raining all night long, because this horse's second start before the Wood Memorial was sensational. One of the better 3-year-old races early last year. And his Wood, where he finished 4th while being involved in that very quick pace, that was an excellent race.
I thought he was absolutely finished in that Wood, and he hung around, and he really ran well here at this Aqueduct Oval. So it'll be exciting to see him back in action now as a 4-year-old, and that will be the Jazzle Stakes, our feature. But we have a very good New York bred maiden special weight as well, which will go as race number 4. We are checking out Overall, who had the strangest trips, I think, Andy, here.
Number 13.
He's number 13. He was 2 lengths off.
Yeah.
Well, he was 2 lengths when they were going down the backside. Then he drops all the way back to here.
He's in yellow.
And then he comes back and rallies up the rail.
No, I agree, Maggie. It was very odd. And I remember talking to Chad Brown after the race, and he couldn't really understand it because, as you say, he was in a contending position. It was Javier Castellano. He was riding aggressively. He just dropped himself out of the race, and then he actually re-rallied for second. It was a promising effort, but you wonder if his mind just wasn't into it.
Exactly. Now, he is bred pretty well. He cost $235,000 as a yearling, so I think he must have some promise there. We'll see if his next race he can capitalize on it.
He's going to have his running shoes on because there's a horse in this race, Tensinder, whose connections thought so much of him. After his 3rd place finish in this race with a very low percentage rider, they actually entered him in the Jerome, scratched him. He was scratched out of a maiden special weight, but he's coming back in this maiden race against New York breds. Don't kid yourself. This horse, he's finished 3rd right now. He ran well in this race, and this was a good field.
He really did. I mean, he didn't switch leads, which may have cost him a couple lengths, but he's another one that's well-bred. He's a half to Mother Russia, so I'm looking forward.
I wore the dunce cap for Mother Russia many times. She was my nemesis. She was always good, and I was always wrong.
Very, very nice sprinter for Linda Rice. We're checking out Charlie Baker's horse in here, who does have the best buyers, but can he stretch out this Son of Posse?
Well, that's the question, Maggie. I think you and I are in the same camp where we're not thrilled with Posses. I know they run a lot of them on the turf. They run them long. He's been a decent enough sire, and this is a very good horse. Charlie's numbers stretching out are not great. He's a very, very good trainer. He had a wide trip here, and this was a very good field. Can he go long? And this is a really good race.
It really is. I'm looking forward to it a lot. And you're looking forward to another horse in the 2nd race, aren't you?
Shockingly enough, I've got a lot of opinions on tomorrow's card. I thought tomorrow's 2nd race, you know that I've been waiting for Penthouse Party to finally be in a spot where she's actually competitive. And she's competitive in this spot, dropping down. She's not going to be a short price in here. You know, maybe Ocean Boulevard is the horse she has to beat. There's some horses off layoffs. Penthouse Party, she can win that race tomorrow at a very, very fair price.
Yeah, hopefully. 12-1 on the morning line. Andy's hot. You got Captain Sirius home.
I had one good day. I've had about 23 terrible days and one good day. Not hot yet.
Oh, well, I'm sure we'll be rooting on Penthouse Party tomorrow in the 2nd race. But that will do it for this Aqueduct Insider. Thanks for tuning in. On behalf of Andy Serling, I'm Maggie Wolfendale, and we will see you back here for a special Monday edition. Have a good night, everybody.